Hi, I'm Glenn Whipp with the Los Angeles Times. We're continuing our Emmy Contenders series, and joining us today from the rebooted Twilight Zone, Ginnifer Goodwin. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. You, I read, were a big fan of the, who wasn't?
Who wasn't?
Right?
We have all the same favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Burgess Meredith has to be
Time
your,
Enough at Last, yeah.
has to be your favorite episode.
Yeah. What's the other ones?
What's the one about the mannequins at night, after hours? The mannequins in the department store
That's
that
a different
come
one.
Oh, really? Oh,
No one's mentioned that one.
I've seen it so many times. The one about the toy phone, the little boy can talk to his grandmother, long distance call.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I might be mixing up the titles with other episodes, but I'm pretty sure that those
sound about right.
Yeah.
So there's 3 off the top of your head.
Yeah.
It feels like in watching this Twilight Zone episode, Point of Origin, that you're in, it feels like there were a number of like little references to the original series woven in.
Yes.
Did they tell you about those, or did you notice those on your own?
If I asked questions like, does this number have significance? Well, yes, it does. Did you notice the mask that my character wears is molded after the pig faces? What's the name of that wonderful episode? Eye of the Beholder, maybe?
Eye of the Beholder. You're right. Yeah. I did notice that. Okay, first, before we go further into the weeds here.
Yes.
Tell me about this episode.
Well, it's such a relief to be able to talk about it because I've never been under so many NDAs in my entire life.
Really?
No. I mean, by the way, my script, my call sheet, my sides, my chair, the signs to get me to set, nothing said Twilight Zone. I always thought I was in the wrong place. And there was containment. People would walk around behind us with buckets. Like, are you done with your sides?
Wow.
Your watermarked sides
like
that don't even say Twilight Zone.
Shredder that's just
yes.
Or was it like a fire?
It really kind of was. And we, no phones could come out on set, which was actually marvelous.
Yeah.
So this is an episode about the definition of home. It's about immigration, the way we're treating immigrants in America right now. It's about bystander apathy.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was just about the basic rights of like putting down your flag and staying with your family, as America has declared itself the melting pot and was founded by immigrants, and we're sort of changing the rules after the fact.
Right. We're in a little bit of a different space right now.
Yes.
Which makes this episode, very, very relevant and very much in that Twilight Zone wheelhouse of taking on kind of cultural issues.
Yes, it's very relevant.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that it's telling the audience how to feel, but I do feel that it's pointing out that there is great tragedy in having made the choices we've made of late. We have to acknowledge that that has to be part of the argument.
In the first part of the episode, you're playing a mother, stay-at-home mom.
Yes.
2 beautiful children. But things look a little bit off.
Yes.
As they do in the Twilight Zone.
Right, because we are in a dimension very similar to ours, but maybe one thing happened in like the year 1600 that changed the course of this dimensions. If you're talking about like parallel universes and string theory in this world, and so everything looks a bit 1960s, and yet we have cell phones. Things politically are very similar to today, but more black and white. Everything's a bit more on the nose.
Right. And your character would like to think of herself as kind of a progressive person.
Oh, yes. There's right. Yeah. There's an inherent like racism, for instance, in saying like I am not racist because I have a friend who is XYZ, and that is who this woman is.
Yeah. In this case, her friend is the housekeeper, kind of nanny.
Yes, who is clearly raising her children, my character's children. My character is out of touch with who she is. She's out of touch with the basic day-to-day, needs of her children. She doesn't know how to feed them. When the nanny is picked up by immigration and my character has to go to the grocery, she doesn't even know how to work the credit card machine. And is having to, yes, readjust and find the basic survival skills in this century.
Right. You don't really want to be behind her at the supermarket line.
No, nobody does. There were like 20 people in that line.
It's like she's handing over the card, and
And she was finding everything a little germier than she likes.
Right.
Sort of comment on her thoughts about being in places with just other people who are not exactly like her in general.
Right. It kind of reminded me of I feel like it used to be a question you'd ask presidential candidates: how much does a gallon of milk cost?
Oh, sure.
Right, and she would have no idea.
No. She leads a life that she believes is very lucky. And others of us would say, she's privileged. And she collects people of various cultural backgrounds, and she thinks that makes her. Because, if you, for instance, I love the way that it was cast. Like, her friends who come and have tea with her are, of different cultural backgrounds. And that makes her feel very good about herself. Letting her nanny use her address to help her nanny's grandson get into the local public school is, of course, in the beginning, questionable, but then when she realizes that her nanny might do something like work the party for free, my character finds her inner goodness and generosity, and then it feels very good about having been generous and decidedly unracist today.
She probably told everyone that she knows.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then can't get past that point. Surely that's why when she is picked up, she is in trouble, and surely it's something that she'll just get slapped on the wrist and will be on her way.
Right. This episode's in Twilight Zone's on CBS All Access.
Yes.
I'm wanting to talk to you a little bit more about it without giving everything away.
Yes.
But your character does find herself she finds herself
on the other side.
On the other side of the equation, and landing in a detention center or prison, jail. We don't really know.
Yes.
But yeah, you mentioned the mask, which is very much out of that one Twilight Zone episode.
Yes.
How was that?
It was great fun.
You get to go to some places. I think as an actress, have you gotten to go before?
No, and in fact, and I'm stealing this, by the way, from another actress who was also talking about being cast in the Twilight Zone, because each of these episodes is obviously just acting gold for whoever is receiving these jobs. And at first I thought it was a mistake that they called me, because I didn't think that there was any work of mine out there that could prove that I could show up and do this.
Yeah.
I don't feel that anybody's ever given me this much room to play and this much range to play. And to be able to make what was basically a TV movie for 2 weeks, and to have so much screen time to do it, each of these episodes is so usually about one or only a couple of characters. So we have so much time on camera to flesh out these people. And they're giving us such journeys. The way it felt to me was that I was being walked by the shoulders to the edge of a cliff and pushed off, and they filmed what happened. And sometimes I felt that they even literally sort of did that in that, the solitary confinement scenes. They just put me in a cell for hours with a camera and said, how would your character comfort herself?
And you had to come up with the answers.
And what a wonderful and inspiring challenge.
Yeah.
It was just fun.
What would you do in solitary confinement?
Well, one of the things I would do, we put in, which was, I think that I would have the thought, everybody in every prison movie gets in shape. So I'm going to finally start exercising.
Yeah.
And I would get
that's
through
right. Your character does some jumping jacks.
And then it's done.
Yeah.
Because that's what I assume I would actually do. I would do a couple of sit-ups and be like, well, this is never going to happen, because it never happened before.
So you're saying you wouldn't be turning into
I wouldn't
Cape
suddenly
Fear.
have abs,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And we were giving ourselves the giggles, coming up with those kinds of things. And some of them came in, I did I did shadow puppets, frankly, purely because my own real life little boys will someday watch the episode when they're older and remember that shadow puppets was a very big deal in our house. And so that was also just sort of mommy sending a little message to Hugo and Oliver because I was away for weeks and still thinking about them on set.
That's nice.
So that was fun. And then the rest of me, and I did try to we obviously spent hours, trying to come up with things more in character. And so she did things that played the piano or sang a song or danced because her children dance. And that was something that we had also just come up with on the spot because we found out that the kids were competitive dancers. And so the reason why they're tap dancing in their introduction in that very first scene is just because we knew that about these little girls.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that whole scene was really, it was like being in theater school again or something. It was very liberating and very fun because they said, what would, go deep. And so some of the things became nightmarish because there was that thought that, my character has been dreaming her past, but that part of what she's seeing here is what also, it's like all time has overlapped for her. Part of her nightmare has been this situation. And part of that recurring nightmare is also these experiences she had as a little girl that she had completely forgotten until this moment. And so in all of these times for her colliding, because also we decided she doesn't really think linearly. She's from this other dimension. And so it's the nightmare coming true in the cell.
Well, now we're getting
Sorry, so I've gone into the whole...
No, but yeah. I'm gonna leave the rest. Wait, why? I mean, you accepted this part. I mean, we talked about your love for the original.
Yes.
So you didn't really even need to read the script. You just heard Jordan Peele, Twilight Zone.
That is
and it was
true.
Like, that's it.
And I said, I'm going. And my rep said, you actually do have to read the script. And I said, well, I'll obviously read the script, but I also obviously know that Jordan Peele plus the Twilight Zone is going to work.
Yeah.
And
you have faith.
I have faith, and I don't want them to change their mind. So please just negotiate it. Just close the deal. I just want to get on the plane and go.
Yeah.
And so I did. I really just started packing that day.
And when did you read the script then?
I mean, I read it as they were negotiating.
As they were, okay.
And then they did the thing that was...
It wasn't on the plane.
No, then they called and they were like, and do we close the deal? Yes, you closed the deal. I'm doing the show.
But it sounded like you were like, wow, this is going to be a challenge. I haven't done anything like this before.
Never. But I also didn't know that they were... I mean, I knew that because it was Jordan Peele's company, they would be going deep.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a massive fan. But I didn't know that the script was going to... I didn't know the script was going to be that well written just because I hadn't read any of the other episodes. And I know Mr. Peele's work, but these were all written by other screenwriters. And so I knew while it would have his touch, I mean, I didn't understand quite how meaty it would be and quite how challenging it would be.
So did you notice, we were talking about little Easter egg, little things in this episode. Mm-hmm. Did you notice the frosted cereal, the name of it?
No.
It's called Frosted Cannamunch cereal. And the Cannamunch is a reference to the aliens and to serve man.
Oh, that's
the
amazing.
Ones who kind of like to eat humans.
Never even looked. By the way, did I act with the box? Was the box on the table in that scene, or was it something they did in an insert so I wouldn't have noticed it?
I should know this, but I
but
just
I don't
remember
know.
it from the scene. I could have sworn you were
probably-
pouring it out, or one of the kids
I mean, it was somebody else's hand.
Yeah. And that the charter school is named Matheson Charter School
Yes.
after the great writer
Yes.
Richard Matheson.
That
who
one
wrote
I knew.
some classic Twilight Zones. And the one that I was reading up on this was there's a great ice cream truck
Yes.
in this episode.
And it wasn't supposed to be snowing, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
And I loved it
Where
even
did you shoot it?
more. Vancouver.
Okay.
And we had a snowstorm for my
Yeah, it makes it
entire
look-
episode.
Makes it look more surreal, doesn't it?
It was
Like
perfect.
Yeah.
It added so much, and there was just something so off about an ice cream truck in
right.
snowstorms
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I thought made it just so much better. We were so lucky.
Yeah, and that ice cream truck is, I think, Dingle ice cream after another Burgess Meredith episode.
I didn't know.
Mr. Dingle the Strong, where it's
love
like
it.
the little weakling guy becomes strong all of a sudden.
I mean, I did see some Twilight Zone history books sitting around, like those, like the trivia books and the makings of, and I know
Yeah.
they were bookmarked like crazy. So they must have just been.
There's like more that are just even more like obscure.
Yes.
I
Oh,
mean, but
I
they
mean, I'm
put a
sure.
lot of effort into it.
There must be a whole department dedicated to
Yeah.
this.
What did you take away from being in this episode, like as just a person?
I mean, it can't help. I feel like the genius of the writing is that you can't help but ask yourself if you are stepping up as a human being as much as you could. And so as open and accepting and non-judgmental as I like to believe I am, I had to really, I will forever be asking myself questions that my character was asked and had to ask herself because she, I guess it took my inhabiting it, but she was sure that she was a certain kind of person. And it made me ask myself, is the way that I define myself at all accurate?
Yeah. Are you delusional too?
Yeah, must be a little delusional.
But she was really.
She was real delusional.
She had some blind spots.
Well, yeah, and she was unreal for like the first half. It took her being locked, not even just being locked up. It took her, I feel like, being schooled by Anna, the nanny, and her asking the question, "Do you even know the name of my children?"
Oh man, that was a powerful scene.
Well, to me, that's like the first sort of like fissure.
Yeah.
Like that's the first crack in this bubble
Right.
that Eve has even just built around herself that she would have happily died in.
And that was kind of the tricky challenge, I think, probably for you as an actress, was to play her as this kind of delusional, privileged woman.
Yes.
But yet, you have to feel something for her too.
Yes. Well, I found her to be likable.
Of
And
course
so
you did.
in my finding her
That's your
likable,
job.
right, I can empathize with her and hope that all of those things the audience will also empathize with, all of those likable qualities. But in not also playing the qualities, it became about sort of playing, she is innocent to herself. So her intentions all had to be good.
Right.
Her actions for her were all justifiable. And so it was about I had to justify her actions to then give her the appearance of being, yes,
Yeah.
something that's quite, it's almost like she was a cartoon character of what she thought a good person should be, but she also really enjoyed being that. It's not that she was heartless. She was devastated when Anna was taken away. Was she a little more concerned with having to find a new nanny? Yes.
Right. Yeah.
But she still does have, there's still part of her that's, the human part of her is the part I tried to play the most with.
We are asking everyone who comes in these questions,
Yes.
lightning round questions, which you saw.
I
But
cheated.
you know what? And we were talking
I still
before
don't know all the
this.
answers.
You are 5 episodes behind on Game of Thrones.
Yes, and I've put in all those years of watching all those episodes and I'm still behind.
You're a mother of 2 young kids. You're a working actress who's working right now.
I'm up and on a set by 5:30 every morning.
So we're talking the day after the Game of Thrones finale, but you don't know. So I can
I
ask
didn't
I can
know.
ask you this question.
Yes.
Who's going to win Game of Thrones? And I want to tell you if you're right or wrong.
Who do I think is going to win?
Yeah. Or you could say, who do you hope? Maybe that's the same
how horrific is it too that like I can tell you the actors' names, but I actually don't remember the characters' names. But like I want Sophie Turner to win.
Okay. Sansa.
I want her to be the queen of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she's the most deserving.
I did mention that you're the parent of 2 young kids, so maybe you don't have time to binge watch TV shows. But what was the last one if you had time?
I have actually, when I have these, I don't know if I call it binge watching because I'll watch part of something.
Okay.
But I'm really into Upstart Crow right now. Do you know Upstart Crow?
No, I do
Get
not.
into Upstart Crow. I think you can watch it on Netflix. I watch it on BritBox, but it's a sitcom platform. I don't even know, because I don't know that it's actually a sitcom, but it's filmed as if it's a sitcom. Like, I'm not sure there's an audience there. I'm not sure if it's really multicam, but it's filmed.
It sounds like the Twilight Zone.
It's filmed to look multicam, but it's a comedy about Shakespeare, and every episode parallels a Shakespearean play and is hysterically funny. Oh, by the way, okay, so the actress on Game of Thrones who is, don't know her name.
I knew you were going to go down this rabbit hole here.
Alfie Allen, it's his sister, and he just saved her in the episode I just saw.
Okay.
His sister,
All right.
who is the queen of the iron. I am killing myself right now. This is horrible. She's in it, and she's hysterically funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I might be not watching
No,
Game of
I'm
Thrones, but I'm watching her in something else.
I'm going to Google it right after we're done here. What classic TV show would you like to have been on?
I was obsessed with Patty Duke.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Patty Duke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would like to have played twins, like her twin friends.
That'd be a challenge.
Yes.
What's the worst job you've ever had?
Oh, I was a terrible file clerk.
Yeah.
I had to file. Oh, gosh.
Just boring.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm not good with desks. I'm no good with desks.
You have the right career then.
Yes, exactly.
What has you more excited, the Sopranos prequel or the Breaking Bad sequel?
Breaking Bad.
Yeah?
100%.
wanna
I
find
did
out.
binge watch that.
So you want to see what happens next?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
coming in
having
today.
me.
And for more of these Emmy conversations, you go to latimes.com. Thanks for watching.